Okay, guys, check it out. Tomba Recomp. Yes, Tomba from PS1 is, well, has a recomp now, which is pretty cool. Now, as you guys can see here, this repository contains the game, specifically configure seed tool and build glue for running Tomba on the PCSX Recon framework. Tomba MIPS code is machine translated, recompiled ahead of time into native C, then compiled into a real Windows, Mac OS, Linux program that runs the game on logic on a faithful simulation of the PS1 hardware, GPU, SPU, GTE, memory cards, plus the real recompiled PS1 BIOS. No high-level emulation shim. It does not contain the disk, obviously, or the PS1 BIOS, generate game code, or any of the compiled Tomba C. Those are produced locally from your own legally obtained assets, which is great. Now, I know it says Windows, Mac, and Linux, but you guys will see that only one of those is true for now. So that is pretty cool. As you guys can see here, we got some more information on it, and we got the features, which is the thing you guys really want to see. 2 renders, CPU software Raterizer, and the GPU Authority OpenGL back, OpenGL move, and super sampling onto the GPU to fill heavy scenes like the Mushroom Forest holds 59.94 frames per second, falls back to software automatically if GL init fails. Super sampling plus anti-aliasing internal resolution, SSA 2 times, 4 times with optional linear preset filtering for clean edges, ships at 2. Optional texture filtering nearest native PCSX looks or bilinear. Experimental widescreen, which is 16 by 9, generate wider field of view. The GTE projection is widened so you see more of the world at the size. Not a stretch picture, worked on both renders. Opt-in some 2D HUD menu FMVs. Elements and occasional background themes can look off. 21 by 9 is not ready, but they are working on it. Seamless analog plus D-pad control. The left analog stick variable run speed and the D-pad both work at once with no mode toggle. DualShock analog is on by default. On both player slots, adjustable stick depth zones, persistent in-game settings, your options choice, text speed, sound, vibration, screen adjustments are safe and stored on every launch. Graphical launcher, pick your BIOS, disk, and memory card. Verify the disk configures renders, super sampling, widescreen controller, and all with live settings persistent. The press launch. Self-growing native cache areas you visited are converted to fast native code as you play and reuse or later launches. See help make your game go faster. Okay, so that sounds pretty cool. Now the setup here. Right now, this game is only available for Windows, so you need to download the Tomba Recon first and extract it. Then you have to run the .exe. A launcher window will open. You need to select your BIOS, so you better have your BIOS. It has to be scph1001bit.bin, which this is pretty easy to get. Just Google it. Set the game disk, select your legally obtained Tomba, which also could be pretty easy to obtain. Again, ask Google. Disk images, the launch is verified, the ISO 9660 header region serial. Optional, just adjust render of super sampling screen. Look wider and control setting, then press launch, your choice. And remember, accept this format has to be a .q or a .bin. They are saying that they prefer a .q over the direct .bin and ISO. If the header or gang ID doesn't match, which this is the gang ID that it has to have, the launcher warns and tries to run the image anyways. Select the path persist next executable, bios.config, the disk.config, and settings.toml. Delete those to pick different files or reset settings. So pretty much this should be running. It's gonna be running a specific one, but I'm pretty sure later on when it gets more updates, it's gonna be able to run all the different versions, no problem. And here it is if you want to build it straight from the source. Now, builds on Windows, Mac OS, in Silicon or Intel, and Linux requirements. So if you want to build a Mac version for it, this is what you have to do. And honestly, this is quite a bit of work. If you guys can see all this, you need to use Python. There's the whole script that you need to run. There you go, if you want to do that. So here are the controls. You know what it's supposed to do on the PCSX keyboard. So that's what you have. And of course, the more you play the game, the faster it's gonna go because of the catch. And here's your license. So right now, like I said, this is version 0.7.0 alpha. You can see that this has a framework level release. The shared PCX Recomp engine underneath Tomba Recomp went through a major refactor pass, and this build picks all of it. Highlights: instant boost. The PlayStation BIOS boot animation is now skipped by default. The game on startup kernel plus distro still runs the for real. Is just fast forward, so you land on the title screen in seconds. Prefer the authentic boost logo? Set the BIOS here. New BIOS back HLE tier. The engine now supports two selectable BIOS back then. To fully recompile original BIOS LLE still the reference implementation and a new high-level tier that services common kernel calls native. Release ship with the HLE tier on. Faithful timing core. CPU cycle actually works landed across the board instruction, stack load, delaying handling, instruction catch modeling, and device access wait states, all validated against the reference emulator. Games run on the authentic timing, not approximations. Deterministic thread scheduler, guess thread switcher, move off host fiber onto a deterministic scheduler that operates on the game's own kernel structure. Stability fixes a class of freezes, blacks, screens caused by state cache native code, including the pause menu after loading in a safe black screen. The engine now verifies the code caches against the exact compiler build that produces it and refuses anything stale. This failure class is closed for good. The bundle native code cache was rebuilt from scratch. For this release, areas not covered by the bundle itself compile on your machine as you play. No tools needed or the compiler is bundle. The launcher skips PCSX. BIOS toggle is gone. Boot skipping is automatic now. Saving loading validate for both BIOS backends. So, and a good update be the first version, honestly. Now, when you come here to access, You might see it like this, so go ahead and press the little arrow there, and there you go. Like I said, right now, if it's for Windows, if you want it for Mac or Linux, you have to build it yourself using these instructions here. And I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna wait for, for the normal release, like everybody else, because the simplest way there is, to get this running. So yeah, that does it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully soon the rest of the world, rest of Mac users and Linux users will be playing Tomba. So see you guys next time.